What is going on, guys? This is Brendan Admin coming to you with the KBR Sports YouTube channel. You already know the best YouTube channel on YouTube. And guys, in this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly five reasons as to why Antonio Brown is becoming the next Terrell Owens. So guys, stay tuned for that and we'll get the video started. Guys, thanks for tuning into the KBR Sports YouTube channel. I appreciate all you guys that are tuning in. And if you guys are new visitors of the channel, or if you've been to the channel before, you just haven't done it yet, which I don't understand why you wouldn't have, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that way you don't miss any future videos. And make sure you turn on the notification bell as well, so that way any post, notification, anything like that about the KBR Sports YouTube channel, you're up and on top of. You're not missing anything. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And make sure you go ahead and hit the like button as well, just to show that, you know, you genuinely like the video. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, this is such a great content, man. Great content. Because guys, my goal is always to try and get my videos to 100 likes. These videos, I'm trying to get them to 100 likes. So if we hit the 100 like barrier, guys, that's an achievement for us on the KBR Sports YouTube channel. So let's aim for that and try and get this video to 100 likes. And of course, guys, share the video as well. That's always appreciated and everything. And I'm going to include all my social media handles like my Twitter, Instagram, all that down in the description below. And guys, I want to get right into it because I don't think it's been a surprise. We all know who's been the hot button topic besides Andrew Luck, right? And it's been Antonio Brown. And one of the reasons why I'm going to say this one thing in this video, and pretty much I think we all can pretty much agree on this, right? That Antonio Brown is one of the best players in the NFL. Right? There's no controversy with that. I'm not breaking bears. It's not a hot take. He's one of the best players in the NFL. Now, this is another part of this take. And Antonio Brown is one of the best players that brings the most drama at the moment. Now, obviously, we got guys in the conversation that kind of give him runner-ups. They're runner-ups. They sometimes take the title from him, and sometimes they're in the conversation too, like guys like Odell Beckham Jr. and a guy like Ezekiel Elliott at this point in time. But right now, I think I'd have to give the title to AB. And like I said, that's just my opinion as of right now. And because of this very reason, I felt like he just drew an immediate comparison to one guy. And I think we all know who I'm talking about. I alluded to it earlier in the video, and that's Terrell Owens. Like I said, I have 5 facts. This isn't made up stuff, guys. These are literal similar comparisons of these guys that they compare to each other in so many ways. I feel like their career paths are on the same arc in a lot of ways. So you guys give me your thoughts. Do you think I'm right about my 5 facts as to why Antonio Brown is just like Terrell Owens and he's going down the path of becoming the next TO? Let me know, guys. But let's get things kicked off with reason number 1. And guys, reason number 1 for me is their work ethic. Both guys have an insatiable work ethic. It's been noted and documented for years how hard both guys are grinders in the gym. And I think it's even noted to say the least about how their teammates speak of them in regards to the work ethic. Here, right now, you'll see what Jerry Rice had to say about Terrell Owens in regards to how hard he works. And then the ultimate display of T.O.'s work ethic pretty much came in Super Bowl 39. And because of it's not even what he did, well, it's partially what he did in the Super Bowl, but it was leading up to that game because T.O. had pretty much severely hurt his ankle leading up to the game. And he had fractured his fibula in the leading weeks up to the game. And he was advised not to play. He was told not to play. He was told he probably wasn't going to be able to go at the time when he had injured his injury, when he had incurred his injury, because he was going to be out for months. But he somehow found a way to play in the game, and the dude was able to get 9 receptions for 122 yards. Like, guys, that's crazy. On a fractured fibula and a severely hurt ankle, he was able to rack up 122 yards with 9 receptions. Now, it did come in a loss, but it's still a remarkable performance nonetheless. You had to imagine how hard he worked to come back from that injury. And AB has been documented as having a similar work ethic. And guys like his new teammate Derek Carr have even spoken on AB's behalf because of it. And AB, back in 2017, when AB had incurred a bad toe injury, and it was a situation where they were going to be playing the Ravens for a game that had playoff implications. AB played in that game regardless of his injuries. The dude reacted by putting up a total of 213 yards. 213 yards. That had been the second time he had done that in his career. And obviously it helped aid the Steelers into a win and secure a playoff berth. So I think that's one mark that for both guys, it's without a doubt that they deserve to be commended for is their work ethic, and you can see it in how they produce in a lot of ways. Now, time for reason number 2. Celebration dances. Guys, these two, when it comes to celebrations, they're probably the most exuberant guys in NFL history when it comes to exuding themselves in regards to celebrations. Chad Ochocinco's right there, but these two are definitely some of the most exuberant guys when it comes to the celebrations. Antonio Brown has made a staple of himself when it comes to the celebrations, and he's made a fair share of airwaves with his celebrations. Now, and particularly after the NFL scaled back on the celebration rules and legislations that they had put in, AB came out with like the treasure chest of celebrations. He was like, hey guys, I had all these saved up for you guys, so now I'm ready to kind of bust them out on you since the NFL is going to let me do it. And of course, he still received his fair share of penalties and fines for his celebrations, especially for the most noted one in what the kids call the twag. The twag. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. The twag. Yes, the twag. But AB was fined for the twag for a little over $9,000, and he received an unsportsmanlike penalty in the moment of the game. And I wish I could have got the footage of Mike Tomlin's face right after he got penalized for that. But I digress. His celebrations have entertained people in a lot of different ways, and they turned off a lot of people in a lot of the same ways. And the same thing could be said for the most part about Terrell Owens. For the better and for worse, he was one of the most iconic celebrators in NFL history. Like, that's just what T.O., some of the most noted things. Like, if you look up a highlight reel on Terrell Owens, you're going to see a lot of his celebrations in. How can anyone forget about his iconic Sharpie celebration where he scored a touchdown and literally reached into his own sock, his shoe, whatever the hell it was, and pulls out a Sharpie, starts signing the football and gives it to a fan? Like, those are, you do that autograph, he kept the Sharpie waiting to score a touchdown to sign it and give it to a fan. Like, that's just ridiculous. That's one of the most iconic celebrations there is. And then, goodness me, I cannot forget, obviously, when T.O. was, that's why everybody knows T.O. as get your popcorn ready, because the time when T.O. scored a touchdown when he was playing in Dallas, and he literally faced himself with popcorn. Like, that's one of the, obviously you probably can't see a T.O. highlight mix without seeing that celebration in there. But guys, I think T.O.'s most notable touchdown celebration would definitely have to be the time when he scored a touchdown, when he was still playing for the 49ers, and he scored a touchdown, and he literally runs to the star, the Dallas Cowboys star, and does puts his hands in the air and just pretty much gives homage on the star. And of course, he said he wasn't trying to show anybody up the first time. Yeah, he said he wasn't trying to show anybody up the first time. The second time is a little bit different, because the second time it came following Emmitt Smith. After he scored a touchdown, Emmitt Smith ran to the star and spiked the football that he planted it there. So the minute T.O. scored again in the game, this man literally runs back, gets the football, runs back, and is ready to try and spike the ball on the star. And one of the Cowboys players comes and just trucks him. And that's been one of, like, they made a whole docu-series on it. Like, it was a documentary about it, that very moment. Like, that's how big that was in the course of NFL history. So no one can ever say that T.O. or AB doesn't like having all eyes on them. So that's definitely something both guys share in common. Now, for reason number 3. They both have low-key backgrounds. I know people aren't going to really understand what I'm saying when I mean that, but neither T.O. or AB were really heavily recruited coming out of high school or college. AB coming out of Central Michigan and T.O. went to UT Chattanooga. Those guys didn't have the biggest, welcoming fares for them when it came to them coming to the NFL. T.O. actually got more attention than AB coming out, because T.O., when he was coming out of school, T.O. was a triathlete. He played basketball, he played football, and he ran track. And for AB, that wasn't necessarily the case for him. AB, since he was drafted in the 6th round, he flew under the radar, and he actually was the 37th ranked wide receiver in his draft per NFLDraftScout.com. So it definitely, both guys were not by any stretch of the imagination the headliners of their draft. But both of them did have to work very hard to make their respective rosters, and they had to beat out other teammates and other receivers to make the roster. In T.O.'s case, he had to beat out a guy in J.J. Stokes, who had previously won a Super Bowl with the 49ers to even get that roster spot. And he eventually won his way out into becoming the lead receiver once Jerry Rice had gotten injured. And for AB, he had a list of guys that he had to essentially beat out to get to his point and to secure his position of where he is or where he was with the Steelers that we know him as. He had to beat out guys like Tyler Grisham, Stephon Logan, Isaiah Williams, Arnaz Battle, Jericho Cotchery, Emmanuel Sanders, and Mike Wallace. Guys, that's 7 people. He had to beat out 7 people. And this isn't just what we're talking about just for his starting position, guys. This was just for the third receiver spot he had to beat out all these guys for to make it to this point to where he became the starter we know him as today. So obviously both guys broke through because of the work ethic that I alluded to earlier. But if you ever thought that them getting to this point of the notoriety, the success, and all that was easy by any stretch of the imagination, by no means was it ever at all easy for these guys. Reason number 4, the drama. The drama, the drama, the drama. Now, obviously, the reason AB is even a topic right now is because of how much drama his name has had attached to it in the news currently. And the reason this comparison is even apropos is because of this drama that both players have caused throughout their careers. And both guys have had their fair share of moments of having negative press and being in a negative spotlight. And although, in fairness, I'm going to be fair to AB because AB, it didn't really start till 2017. So for him, and that's only 2 years removed, and AB had been in the league for what, like 6 years at that point. So for him, it wasn't necessarily the same to the same degree of T.O. While T.O. on the other hand had issues that dating back to his early years on the 49ers. Now, every player knows you can't start chirping and creating issues until you have equity built with your team. And T.O., he got louder and louder and louder the more he became successful and the more the team really needed to depend on him and rely on him. And the same principles applied to Antonio Brown. And both guys tended to get their loudest when they were vying for a new contract, and this was the case for both guys. Now, T.O., even when he wanted to leave the 49ers, when he was ready for a change of scenery, the fit hit the sham. Let's just say that, because T.O. single-handedly sparked a controversy with the NFLPA, the 49ers, the Ravens, the Eagles, and all this was determining whether or not T.O. was a free agent or whether or not the 49ers had his rights and had him under contract to whether or not they could trade him to go and get something for him since he wanted to leave the team. Like, this was a drawn-on battle. Like, guys, this was NFLPA had to get involved. It was legal battles and everything. But eventually, T.O. did get traded to the Eagles, and even after he got traded to the Eagles, the man still took shots at his former quarterback, Jeff Garcia. So that just goes to show you some of the drama that there was there between T.O. and the guys on the 49ers. But the funny thing is, I didn't even mention how public the spat between T.O. and Jeff Garcia was, because guys, it was ugly. Don't get me wrong. It was like there were implications. Like, T.O. literally implied the dude was gay. So it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. So the whole saga was nothing short of like drama. And of course, this kind of drama was never too far behind T.O. because when he got to the Eagles, we all know him and Donovan McNabb picked it right up where him and Jeff Garcia left off. And the contract negotiations pretty much were the smoke before the fire, because T.O. and Donovan, they started getting into it, and he took multiple jabs at Donovan even after their Super Bowl, because he referenced Donovan. He said that he was tired after in the Super Bowl game. T.O. made a comment saying, I wasn't the one that was tired during the Super Bowl. And then he made a comment saying as well that he felt as though the team might have been better served if they had Brett Favre as their starting QB at the moment in time. Donovan McNabb was hurt at that time, but he made the comment, and Donovan McNabb did take it personally.
Brett Favre was the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. They'd be undefeated right now. What do you think of that comment?
I mean, that's a good assessment. I would agree with that.
He got suspended for his comments, and this pretty much led to one of our favorite T.O. moments, the driveway apology, where T.O. pretty much apologized while doing a workout on his driveway, and he lobbied for himself to be reinstated. And of course, I think we all know what happened after that, right? But pretty much, he got cut. Yeah, got cut. So then next year he was released, and so the Cowboys then picked him up, which ushered in the era of T.O. and Big D. Guys, I'm pretty sure you know what happened, right? T.O. got into it with another quarterback, this time being Tony Romo. And T.O. pretty much had jealousy over the favoritism that he felt like Tony Romo was showing Jason Witten, and Jason Witten being the Cowboys tight end. And Jason Witten and Tony Romo have been teammates for about 2 years before T.O. had even got there. So that just goes to show you some of the context of how T.O. was just tripping in some of these instances. And I'm pretty sure we all know how this scenario ended too. Got rid of him. So let me transition things to AB now. AB has not been the constant headache that Terrell Owens was, but well, at least publicly. I'll say that, at least publicly. But let's just say he's on the Raiders for a reason, right? He's on the Raiders for a reason, because it's pretty crazy for a team like the Steelers, who have Ben Roethlisberger and AB have been one of the best quarterback to receiver and tandems in the league for years, and especially with an all-pro guy that you just paid. It's kind of crazy and preposterous to want to get rid of a guy after all of that, right? Nah. Steelers are pretty fed up at that point with AB. And I will say, I think things pretty much, because AB always tended to start acting up when he needed a new contract, but I will say I feel like things started back when he did the whole Facebook Live incident, when he was Facebook Living while Mike Tomlin was giving a speech to the team, and he was kind of saying stuff about the Patriots that you don't want to leave the locker room, but AB pretty much put it out on Front Street. And after that, it pretty much felt like it was a snowball rolling down a hill, because then his teammate Ryan Clark came at him with some comments that were pretty choice. Yeah, he had a lot of things to say about AB, without a doubt.
Antonio has done an extremely good job of tricking people. Antonio Brown loves Antonio Brown. He's like most receivers. He's selfish. And, you can see from last year in the locker room, he's also self-centered. And I can actually say I don't think it's malicious and mean-spirited, though. I think that's just who he is.
And AB, in response, pretty much came at him because he was a former teammate, and it became a public dispute between the two of these guys. Like, AB went as far as to call Ryan Clark Uncle Tom. Like, that's how deep it got, and he said he would fight him on sight. Like, that's how real these things got between these two guys. And after that didn't do his public image any favors. Like, AB at that point, you knew, like, everybody was surprised because you saw him blow up on the sideline. You're like, oh my gosh, this is the real AB. I can't believe it. So people couldn't believe this was the guy that they, after all these years, the smile, all that stuff, the dancing. Nah, he had this in him. And so after that, he pretty much went to the other extreme when him and Ben Roethlisberger got into it. Him and Ben Roethlisberger's dispute pretty much led to him sitting out of practice leading up to the game, their last game of the season of last year, where it had implications of getting them into the playoffs. And he skipped practice and he skipped the game. And even recently, you see that AB has came out, Ben Roethlisberger, and tweets that he's now deleted in regards to when Ben has been saying things like, he pretty much apologized. He said he was sorry for what happened. Now, I will say both guys have a role in this. People want to act like things were just AB. Ben Roethlisberger has been perfect in this relationship by any stretch of the imagination. You'd be ignorant or biased or fooled to think that Ben Roethlisberger had no role in the beef between the two guys. But I digress. AB pretty much had a tweet just coming at Big Ben saying, we were never friends. You were just a means to an end. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Wasn't the best idea. So it was just like he put himself in another, like the whole offseason, AB hasn't been in anything but negative light. Unless it's his teammates speaking highly of him, nothing has been positive for AB at this point. And obviously we have the helmet stuff, the helmet grievances as to why he was almost considering retirement, I guess, like the whole helmet situation. And a lot of people were talking about that. And so all these things, him refusing to report to camp about the helmet, all that stuff is reason why he is at this point becoming the next Terrell Owens. Like, it's just becoming too much and nobody wants to deal with that crap. Having drama all the time, you just want to get it out. You want to get out the room. You want good energy. You don't want that negative crap in the room. So it was evident at this point that the drama does not tail too far behind either guy, which is why we're even having this whole video, because both guys are so dramatic. All right, so that's reason number 4. Now, time for number 5. They're both two of the best to ever lace them up. Anybody that would tell you otherwise is lying to you. Like, both these guys are so nasty at the receiver position. It's crazy. Now, let me just read off some of the successes of these guys at this position. Like Terrell Owens, he's of course already in the Hall of Fame. He had to wait multiple years to be inducted in because of the issues that he has caused with the drama. But he's third in all-time receiving yards, touchdowns, and 8th in receptions. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler and a 5-time All-Pro. He's 2nd in receiving yards and touchdowns in 49ers history, and he's 3rd in single-season touchdown receptions for the 49ers, as well as being top 10 in receiving yards and touchdown receptions for the Dallas Cowboys, and he's even 2nd in single-season touchdown receptions for the Cowboys. Now, his production has never been a point of contention when it comes to T.O. Like, literally everybody even says when he was being kept out of the Hall of Fame, it was like, dude, we're not supposed to judge it on his drama or any of the personality stuff. It's supposed to just be on how well you produced on the field. So people were vying for him to get into the Hall of Fame because of that. And so then when we look at AB, he's coming for T.O. in a lot of ways. He's trying to rack up the accolades to catch up to T.O. because he's a 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, and he's working to become the next guy in the record books. And he's currently 34th in all-time receiving yards and will likely move into the top 20 this year if he duplicates his prior production of previous years. Now, this doesn't even note his Steeler achievements because in terms of all time, he's 35th in all-time receiving touchdowns and 28th in receptions. Now, for the Steelers, he's 2nd all-time in Steelers franchise yards behind Hines Ward, who played in 87 more games and had 283 more targets. So that's on, but he's only, like, think about this. He had 283 more targets, but he's only 876 yards and 11 touchdowns ahead of AB. So AB could literally pass him in this season. If he would have stayed on the Steelers, he would have passed him and been the Steelers' leading receiver in all categories. But he just left a year too early. Like, if he would have duplicated his prior production with Big Ben, he would have eclipsed all the Steelers' receiving records. So he's so talented that he's even 2nd in the franchise's punt return yards and tied for 1st in punt return touchdowns. Like, guys, AB is an all-around threat. Like, that's how AB made his way to this point. Like, in his career, he had to become a special team specialist and pretty much work his way up the ladder and to get his way in as a receiver and beat out guys like that list I gave you earlier. Like, AB has so much talent. He's such a great player, but he's getting to that point where people are going to start associating his talent with all the drama he's brought with him. It's already too late for T.O. to really change the narrative about himself in regards to how people feel about him and view him all time in the record books, but it's not too late for AB. And I'm hoping he does make the choice to change it, because if AB puts up the numbers that he's putting up right now and he changes his image and shifts it like the way Randy Moss has, man, I'm telling you, AB will be first ballot if he can do that. But all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the KBR Sports YouTube channel. In this video, guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already. And remember, I told you, pursuit of 100. We're going for 100 likes. And of course, guys, if you haven't, also make sure you subscribe to the KBR Sports YouTube channel. I always appreciate you guys for following up and tuning into the KBR Sports YouTube videos. And make sure you comment down below. Do you think these 5 reasons I listed are valid in terms of how AB is becoming the next T.O.? And if he doesn't change things real quick, he's going to end up having T.O.'s post-career, like how people see T.O. So, guys, let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. And of course, like always, guys, I appreciate you for tuning in. And until the next video, I'm out.